Will the young blood play in the basement? Or are they too afraid to go down there alone? I would be very afraid if I were them. If you were upstairs, you would never hear them scream.
This is not a horror movie quote. This was a letter found in the mailbox of a dream home in New Jersey, and the person who wrote it was never found. June 2014. Derek and Maria Broaddus thought they had made it. They just bought 657 Boulevard in Westfield, a $1.3 million mansion, 6 bedrooms, big lawn, safe neighborhood. It was the American dream. But 3 days after closing the deal, before they even moved their furniture in, Derek found a white, thick envelope in the mailbox. It was addressed to the new owner. Derek opened it, expecting a warm welcome. Instead, he found a manifesto. The writer didn't identify himself as a neighbor. He identified himself as a guardian.
Dearest new neighbor, 657 Boulevard has been the subject of my family for decades. My grandfather watched the house in the 1920s, and my father watched in the 1960s. It is now my time. Do you know the history of the house? Do you know what lies within the walls? Why are you here? I will find out.
Derek stood on the porch, frozen. The letter wasn't just creepy, it was specific. The writer knew things he couldn't possibly know unless he was watching right now. He mentioned the Honda in the driveway. He mentioned the workers renovating the kitchen. He criticized them for bringing change to the house. But then the letter turned from strange to predatory.
I see you have flooded the house with contractors. I see you have children. I have seen them. I count 3. Have you found the secrets in the walls yet? Once I know their names, I will call to them and draw them to me.
Draw them to me. Derek rushed inside and turned off all the lights. He called the police. But when they arrived, they found nothing. No fingerprints, no DNA, just a postmark from the local distribution center. The Watcher was a ghost. The police advised the family not to tell anyone, but how could they not? They were terrified. They hired a private investigator and an FBI profiler. The profile was chilling. The Watcher is likely someone older, low income, but educated, and lives within hearing distance of the house. All eyes turned to the neighbors. First, the Langfords. The family next door was odd. The mother was in her 90s, and her adult children lived with her. One son was described as a recluse who walked through the neighbors' backyards at night, peering into windows.
Then a more disturbing lead. A man down the street was a heavy gamer. His online username, The Watcher. It seemed like a slam dunk. The police brought him in. They grilled him, but his alibi held up. The DNA didn't match. The Broaddus family was left with 0 answers in a house they were now too afraid to sleep in.
Months passed. The $1.3 million home sat empty. The lights were always off. The grass was growing long, and this is where the story gets ugly. The town of Westfield didn't rally around the family. They turned against them. Rumors started to spread. Why haven't they moved in? Why did the letters start right after the sale? Why can't the police find a single trace? The neighbors started whispering a dark theory. Derek Broaddus wrote the letters himself. Think about it. He buys a house he can't afford. He gets buyer's remorse. He needs a way out of the contract without losing his deposit. So, he invents a stalker. The victims were suddenly the villains. The police even interrogated Derek. Can you imagine the psychological toll? Being hunted by a phantom and hated by your neighbors. To prove he was innocent and to escape the nightmare, Derek tried to sell the house. But word had gotten out. Who wants to buy a cursed mansion? 6 months passed. No buyers. Then a new letter arrived. And this one, This one changed everything about the geography of the threat.
All of the windows and doors in 657 Boulevard allow me to watch you and track you as you move through the house. Who has the bedrooms facing the street? I'll know as soon as you move in. It will help me know who is in which bedroom. Then I can plan better.
But local legends suggested something even worse. 657 Boulevard was rumored to have secret passageways built during the Prohibition era. The family wasn't just scared of someone looking in the windows. They began to fear that the Watcher was already inside, living in the space between the walls, listening. The Broaddus family reached a breaking point. They filed a lawsuit against the previous owners, the Woods family, for not disclosing the Stalker. It turned out the Woods had received a letter days before they moved out, but they threw it away, thinking it was a prank. The lawsuit went nowhere. The judge dismissed it. Derek and Maria were trapped. They were paying a mortgage on a house they couldn't live in, and rent on a house they were hiding in. The Watcher sensed their desperation. The third letter was the most violent yet.
Violent winds and bitter cold. To me they are kind. I am loved by the house. You are not. Maybe a car accident, maybe a fire, maybe something as simple as a mild illness that never seems to go away but makes you feel sick day after day after day. Maybe the death of a pet. Loved ones suddenly die. You are loved by no one.
5 years. It took 5 years of financial bleeding and psychological torture. Finally, in 2019, they sold the house. They bought it for $1.35 million. They sold it for $959,000. They lost nearly $500,000 just to escape. The new family moved in. The neighborhood held its breath. Everyone waited for the next letter. Everyone waited for the Watcher to strike again. But nothing happened. No letters, no threats, no young blood. Why? Did the Watcher die? Did he move away? Or was his obsession specifically with the Broaddus family? Or maybe, just maybe, the hoax theory was right all along. But if it was a hoax, why did the DNA on the envelope not match Derek? The case remains open. The files are still on a desk in the Westfield Police Department. Today, 657 Boulevard stands quiet. The lawn is mowed, the windows are clean. But the letters promised one thing: I am always watching. So tonight, before you go to sleep, do me a favor. Go to your window, look out into the darkness. Can you see anyone? Because even if you can't see them, it doesn't mean they aren't watching you.